I have not been to Minnesota in probably 20 years.
Bring gas. Welcome to Flagrant Howls, a Minnesota Timberwolves lifestyle podcast.
Okay, we got our guy Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department.
Oh, look at that Hockey Day in Minnesota mug. I've got my Roku mug.
Yeah, I have
collector's items. I like it.
Whatever you call this, not
Federated
like a thermos.
Insurance.
Federated
Tumbler.
little mug here.
It's a tumbler, right?
That's a tumbler. Yeah. I just want to congratulate the Denver Nuggets on winning their championship, finally beating the Minnesota Timberwolves last night. Just a major accomplishment for the Nuggets, who never beat the Timberwolves. They grinded that one out without Anthony Edwards for the Wolves. It only took Nikola Jokic going for 25 points, 19 rebounds, 10 assists. He missed one shot last night. He was 9 of 10 from the floor. Literally one of the most efficient games you're going to see in the NBA. But we can talk about the game last night. Also, Anthony Edwards and how long he's expected to be out and what this thing looks like. But Dukes, tell the audience, Awaken 180, you've lost some weight the last month or so, looking and feeling pretty good, man.
I am looking good and feeling good. Thank you, Phil. I mean, I guess looking good is subjective, but I feel like I'm looking good. Yeah, it's all thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken180weightloss.com, down just about 20 pounds in 7 weeks. Feel somewhat energized right now. Was up late last night. Freddie Freeman, 1:51 a.m., walk-off home run, 18th inning for the Dodgers in Game 3 of the World Series. Alarm goes off 6:45 a.m. to get the young one ready for school. I feel okay. You eat well, you feel well. You don't feel just bogged down, right? Like, I feel pretty good here this morning on minimal sleep. The beauty of Awaken 180 weight loss is you eat to lose weight. No medications, no workouts required, no fasting, no calorie counting. You literally, I'm telling you, eat to lose weight. They educate you on what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, the portions, all that, right? It is fantastic. Trust me, they've been doing this for over 10 years. They have a track record of success. If they can get me to lose weight, they can get you to lose weight. The extra notch in the belt buckle feels good. Wore a pair of pants yesterday that I haven't worn in 2 years. Getting compliments from people like Phil Mackey. It feels good. Losing chunkage in my face. It feels good. It's all thanks to Awaken 180. Awaken 180 weight loss. The website to schedule your free consultation. Awaken180weightloss.com. That's Awaken180weightloss.com or call 1-844-346-1800. You literally have nothing to lose. Actually, you do. You have some weight to lose. That's it. Schedule that free consultation, Awaken180weightloss.com.
All right, how worried should we be about this Anthony Edwards list period for the Timberwolves? The Timberwolves are trying to figure out how to play defense without Gobert on the court. They're also trying to figure out who scores points in the absence of Anthony Edwards. There was some good last night. I mean, the fight that they showed, they had a lead in the second half of that game against a really, really good Nuggets team. And I thought Jaden McDaniels offensively assertive last night. There's some positive signs there. Naz Reid had it rocking, but just this is not what they foresaw going into the year, having to deal with at least a couple weeks without Anthony Edwards, it seems like, Dukes.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, I thought Mike Conley Jr. back in the starting lineup last night had the best of his 4 games. I thought Rob Dillingham, even with the turnovers, showed a pulse. Like, to me, Rob Dillingham has earned minutes moving forward. My understanding on Ant, low-grade hamstring strain, grade 1. So that is the good news. That's a typical 1 to 2-ish week type recovery. I mean, realistically, probably back around Friday the 14th. They have a large gap that week between games. So it looks like in total, probably ends up missing 8 games. Jaden McDaniels, how about using his left hand? Like, I loved that Jaden McDaniels game last night. We've always said, Phil, there's more there. We saw it last year when Julius Randle was out for that long stretch. But when Ant comes back, how do you unearth that Jaden McDaniels offense? That, to me, will remain a conundrum. And, hey, the defense with Ant or without Ant. I mean, last night they missed Ant's defense more than they missed his offense. But like, you think about the third quarter last night, Denver scoring on 20 of its 24 possessions. Yeah. Second time in 4 games that the opponent has 100 points before the end of the third quarter. I swear I saw Rudy Gobert block a shot last night, but the lack of rim protection, the lack of contesting shots, the lack of ball pressure, man alive, does Elston Turner have a ton of work to do to fix the Wolves' defense.
And what is that, Dukes? Because, this team defensively at times has been very good. 2 years ago, I think they were the top defense in the entire NBA. So what do we think is happening here? Going back to what the opener and then the Lakers game was especially terrible. But is this just a early season thing? Is this a real cause for concern of some type of lapse? What has changed to take this from a really good defensive team to a team right now that is scuffling in that area?
All right, when you go back to last night, that third quarter, Tim Hardaway Jr. making 3 after 3.
Yeah.
How many of those threes were contested?
Not many.
So some of it's effort, right? Just fighting. I mean, I'd love to see them go Portland on it and pick up 70, 80 feet away. Like, really emphasize ball pressure. And they absolutely are not protecting the rim. I think we need to have a larger discussion about Rudy Gobert, because there was a thought in my mind. In fact, I presented him the question before the Portland game. I'm like, hey, do you have on your mind the possibility of winning a 5th Defensive Player of the Year award? He admitted, yes, absolutely. I've thought about getting that 5th one. I mean, he doesn't have a chance based on the body of work so far. I mean, I thought not playing for France in the summer would aid him greatly. Maybe it will eventually. He's in phenomenal shape. He
looks lean, man. He looks like he's in really good shape.
He is a ridiculous athlete. So is Julius Randle, by the way. Julius Randle playing fast. I love the shape. Grant Hill was making that point a number of times on the broadcast last night, but I've seen it. Julius Randle is in phenomenal shape as well, but some of it's just effort. It really is. And I know they will give efforts. I'd like to think they can fix it. Now, the rim protection, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you solve that one completely. You need more, clearly, from Rudy Gobert. And I get it. You look at the defensive numbers through 4. Of course, they're a better defensive team when Rudy Gobert is on the floor compared to when he's off the floor. Look at the opponent's field goal percentage. It's a blowout, right? When Rudy's on versus off. But still, they need more from Rudy Gobert. So, yeah, I mean, it's absolutely a concern because the schedule's only going to get more difficult. I mean, we looked at the early portion of the schedule and said, okay, 15 of the first 22 against teams that did not make the playoffs last year. Of the 7 against teams that did make the playoffs last year, 2 against the Lakers. You felt good. Well, okay, you lose on Friday. Okay, no Luka tomorrow night. No LeBron James tomorrow night. But does Austin Reeves now go for 45 or 50 tomorrow night? Like, that's a legit concern, especially with no Ant. Now, hey, I'm sure Jaden McDaniels will try to lock up Austin Reeves tomorrow night. But yeah, there's absolute concern, right? And, depending on who they have out there, I mean, we know Rob Dillingham, probably a negative defensive player. Dante DiVincenzo. Yeah. I mean, Phil, you probably have the specific numbers in front of you or somewhat handy, but Dante, we're not looking at, a plus defender. Naz Reid. Okay. I mean, that's the problem, depending on who you have on the floor, especially when you don't have a Jalen Clark either last night. Right, you would have felt okay if Jalen Clark could have played some minutes last night. My understanding is this calf issue very much short term, but you think about Jamal Murray going off last night. Hey, I would have loved to have seen Jalen Clark playing some defense.
That was a big deal
on Jamal Murray last night. So, I mean, he's going to be in the rotation. So you think about, okay, 4-game sample size, no Ant for, the better part of 2 games, no Jalen Clark for 1 game. So I think you feel like, okay, when those guys come back, they can be a pretty good defensive team. But the question is, can they be like a top 7, top 8? We always talk about top 10 offensive efficiency, top 10 defensive efficiency. Can they be top 10 in both areas? I'm not sure yet.
Just back to the Rudy on-off thing for a second here. It's kind of why it's a 4-game sample. So we got to be a little careful. 4-game sample here. But when he's on the court defensively, they have a 112 defensive rating, which isn't great, but it would put them like 10th in the league defensively when Rudy's on the court. So, not quite the top 3 defense when he was on the court last year, but they're a formidable defense when Rudy Gobert's on the court. When he comes off the court, their defensive rating through 4 games is 134.5, which would be dead last in the NBA if it was their full-time team. So they are, without Rudy Gobert on the court, they are the worst defensive team in the entire league. However, on the flip side, offensively, the Timberwolves with Rudy Gobert off the court have a 131 offensive rating, which would be far and away the best offense in the NBA. When he is on the court, they have a 107 offensive rating, which would be the second worst offense in the league. So the polarity of, and again, it's only a 4-game sample, but that trend, like there is a little bit of, if you go back in the Rudy Gobert era here, they've had a hard time finding defensive solutions when he's not on the court, but his presence does make it harder for them to score and run and play at a top level. So it might be, I guess, my long-winded retort here to the how do you deal with Rudy Gobert defensively. It might be that you have to figure out a way to just be an offensive force when he's off the court and be a little bit better. They don't have to be great defensively when he's off the court if they are one of the best offensive teams in the league, but they got to find a way to be a little bit better than they have been through 4 games.
So what are we thinking? Ideally, Rudy Gobert playing 31, 32 minutes, somewhere in that ballpark?
I go
28,
lower.
27?
I mean, it depends
okay, so
on who's
own,
healthy. But.
Whatever that is, own those 19, 20, 18 minutes. You're right. Own it offensively when Rudy is off the floor, then get enough stops when he's on the floor, but knowing that you're not going to be a good offensive team. And hey, at this point of Rudy Gobert's career, at 33 years old, like all of a sudden he's not going to become Johan Beranger in terms of catching the ball. Like that's done and over with. He's not a catcher of the ball, a receiver of the ball. So get some points on offensive putbacks, set some good screens, but it's not like you can give Rudy Gobert the ball. You just can't. Maybe on occasion. Julius Randle, excellent passer. Julius drives. Maybe it's a simple handoff. Rudy can't fumble that. Go up and dunk the ball. Maybe there's 4 points to be had a game like that. But you're not going to be a good offensive team. You're just not, Phil. And hey, that goes back to even pre-Wolves, Rudy, back in Utah. Like, what is the ceiling? What is the ultimate ceiling for a team when Rudy Gobert is playing 30-ish minutes a night? Yeah. Can you win a championship when Rudy Gobert is playing 30 minutes a night?
It's such a great question because when they acquired him, I think it was more about raising the floor than having the highest ceiling. And
mission accomplished, right?
And they did
get Ant all these big time playoff games. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I still think in the moment it was an easy yes for Utah, but yes, as we look back at the trade, hey, it looks a lot better compared to in the moment. Yes, they absolutely have raised the floor. But can you hit your ceiling? I don't know, Phil. I really don't. And I've thought that for a long time. It's not like I'm just inventing this morning.
No.
Speaking of that, on a different position, what is the current state of the point guard position as a whole? So, Conley looked rough in the first, 3 games. Last night, better. I mean, he's still an old player. Your guy, Bones, whirling dervish now. He's playing all the time, it feels like. Dillingham got off the bench last night. Dante handles the ball at times. I still don't think that's where he's at his strongest.
No.
But if you had to, for a contending team, that there's some pressure to win now because the West is so tough that the playoffs sort of started on opening night in a weird way. What is the current Duke's state of the point guard as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, it's not good when Ant's out for 2 weeks.
Right.
Because Ant is going to initiate the offense a lot. I mean, they can announce a starting lineup of Dante DiVincenzo at point guard, but Ant is going to handle the ball so much, initiate the offense, that Dante will revert back to his normal, his number one position of shooting guard, off ball, catch and shoot a lot, right? So Dante's not a point guard. Hey, they're not the only team. Like this morning, I was looking at it while Doogie was at the orthodontist. I'm looking at it in the waiting room. I'm like, okay, Houston needs a point guard. Cleveland will get back Darius Garland at some point, but it might still be a while. Phoenix needs a point guard. Toronto, fascinating roster. They're a tremendous league pass watch, but the Raptors, and I don't know what their ceiling is, but the Raptors need a point guard. Sorry, not a D'Angelo Russell fan, even though I just picked him up in fantasy hoops. Don't ask me why. He was available on the waiver wire, needed some assists, needed some threes, but I'm not a believer in D'Angelo Russell. I haven't been for years. No. Okay, so Dallas needs a point guard. There are a bunch of teams who need a guard. Phoenix, did I mention Phoenix? Houston. So Toronto, Phoenix, Houston, Cleveland, Dallas, and the Wolves. So I've got a list of 6 teams that need a point guard. Here's what I would do. Now, he played some minutes last night because Zion Williamson was out of the lineup for New Orleans, so New Orleans had some minutes to eat up, moving guys around. But like through the first couple games, Jose Alvarado wasn't playing for the Pelicans. Where exactly are the Pelicans going?
Yeah.
I would make a call. Now, easier said than done. What assets do the Wolves have to make a trade? You know, what are you willing to do? But Jose Alvarado of New Orleans. Tyus Jones is not playing for Orlando. That one is a head scratcher. Now, was he just an insurance policy for Jalen Suggs? Jalen okay, but question marks whether Jalen would be okay by opening night. But Tyus Jones is barely playing for Orlando. Signed a 1-year, $7 million deal. But would you make a call to Orlando to try to bring back Tyus? At some point, Indiana is going to get healthy. Could you pry away TJ McConnell? Like, these are some of the names I've thought about, but like if you're going to take a big swing, De'Aaron Fox will be back soon enough for the Spurs. I keep watching Dylan Harper. I mean, yeah, second overall pick, and with his pedigree, right? But Dylan Harper is going to be so good.
He's been
What exactly
really
are the Spurs doing? Would they eventually move De'Aaron Fox? Heck, would the Cavs eventually move Darius Garland if you wanted to take a bigger swing? But I'm telling you, Alvarado, Tyus Jones, TJ McConnell, I would try to pry one of those guys sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think, like, Phil, you've kind of hit on the 2 different potential, like, what do you want to, let's say you decide, all right, all due respect to Bones, Rob Dillingham, by the way, I was just looking this up, so, you know, God, he shows flashes, but he's also, like, he looks lost out there. He turns the ball over too much.
He's a turnover machine, right? Like, you have to, I guess, live with the turnovers. I know.
I mean, he has, if you were to take every player in the NBA last year, so his career turnover percentage is 20% of possessions result in a turnover, Rob Dillingham. I
didn't even realize it was that high. I mean, that's absurd.
Only 3 players in the league had a higher turnover percentage last year. Draymond Green was one of them. This is like all players, by the way. Russell Westbrook, who's just a Tasmanian devil of just frenetic energy and turning. But at least Russell Westbrook gives you a bunch of upside, not necessarily the last couple of years, but like he'll turn the ball over, but also pour in a bunch of other activity and whatnot. So, but you kind of brought up a couple names, Alvarado and the Tyus Joneses, where if you could just get a veteran to take some minutes that doesn't turn it over, that gets the ball moving. The biggest thing is when these teams pick the Timberwolves up before half court, it's hard for Dante DiVincenzo to dribble past pressure and to get into a set. Like, it's a turnover risk. When Julius Randle I'm fine with Julius initiating once the coast is clear in the half court, but like when he's trying to dribble up against pressure past half court, ball gets poked away. So, and Conley has been a little more suspect in that regard. Can it be a smaller move where, all right, let's just go get a Tyus or an Alvarado? Or does it need to be a De'Aaron Fox? And if you did the De'Aaron Fox thing, it's probably like Julius Randle. It'd have to be one of your marquee players that would go in that trade, or maybe it's a 3-way trade of some kind. I mean, which one would you lean if there still is a point guard problem in like 2 months from now?
I have a man crush right now on Julius Randle.
I do too. I think he's been awesome. He's been awesome, dude. He's really good.
I don't know. Can we have the discussion about would you move Jaden McDaniels or Naz Reid?
Wow, dude.
I mean, Naz got his money. I mean, I'd be very open-minded to De'Aaron Fox.
Because the question here is,
Darius
by the way,
Garland's injury history worries me. Not that De'Aaron hasn't had a little bit of that, but
yeah,
Garland has been hurt enough where I don't know if I'm giving up Jaden or Naz for Darius. And I like Darius. That was Gerson Rosas's guy back in.
This is kind of, I feel this is sensitive for fans because we're talking about a lot of like key players here. But I think to reset the question, if the Wolves are going to go to the NBA Finals and potentially win a championship in the next couple of years, is there a running mate starting in the backcourt with Anthony Edwards on the current roster that allows you to do that? If the answer is no, how do you get that player? And which one of your players do you move? Like, do the Wolves have a better chance to go deep in theory to the finals with a De'Aaron Fox, Anthony Edwards backcourt minus Naz or minus Julius or whatever it would take to get De'Aaron Fox, or you keep the bigger part of the structure intact and you just add that Alvarado or that Tyus, which may seem like a small move but could have a big impact? That's the question.
I love De'Aaron Fox. I do. Now, would the Spurs have interest in Naz? If it's Naz plus something else, I don't even have Trade Machine in front of me to see what works money-wise. De'Aaron Fox would be incredibly appealing. Yeah, but then it goes back to, okay, so you still have Rudy Gobert. So what exactly is your ceiling, even with a Fox-Edwards backcourt? Yeah. What I worry about is Ant and usage. And yeah, I get it, 24 years old. I understand that, in the best shape of his life. I understand that, but just him wearing down. And as we know, okay, soft tissue, hamstring issue, that's one of those that can be recurring, right? And so I don't need Anthony exerting so much energy on the offensive end that he also then just becomes an average defender, right? Because we've heard about this desire at some point to become an all-defensive type player. And I think Ant has it in him. But can he sustain on both ends? I worry about that. And so if you bring in a De'Aaron Fox type, that takes so much off Anthony's plate that I would be very open-minded to that. But more realistically, getting somebody like an Alvarado, maybe I'm leaving out a name or two. Those are just some names that I wrote down, but there may be some other realistic names. A name like that's probably a bit more realistic.
What was the back problem too? So to go back to opening night of Portland when Ant showed up mysteriously, because I don't think it had been out there before, with a back problem. Was that something of concern as well? Like two things I hate with athletes are back problems and hamstrings.
He's mentioned he gets back spasms sometimes. He even mentioned usually he doesn't do a ton of ball handling drills in the off season because you have to work low to the ground and it locks his back up. So I'm pretty sure he talked about that. It's kind of been a thing off and on with him.
Yeah, that's my recollection. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember hearing anything, going back to last Wednesday leading into tip-off, that
there wasn't.
Ant was in serious danger of actually missing the game, even though he was listed as questionable. But yeah, Phil referenced it. I mean, he's brought it up. But yeah, sure. Yeah, you can be in the best shape of your life, but yeah, hamstring, back, yes. And so you worry about, and I get it, 24, I understand that, but just the idea that he could eventually wear down. So you need to take some of the load off his plate. You just do.
And back, I think chronic, like that's my problem. And it doesn't age, back problems. I don't think, pick ages. Like we've seen really good athletes in different sports with back problems who are pretty young as well. So if you had to trade one, so if it's Naz or Jaden to the Spurs, which one do you trade with a little something else for De'Aaron Fox?
I mean, probably Naz. Love him, right? And hey, I'm sure I'll get some, and I appreciate the passion and everybody watching and listening, right? But I'm sure, right, 2 words.
Honk if you'll trade Naz Reid.
Right, any number of people with Naz Reid tattoos will blow up my...
Naz, right?
Honk if you'll trade Naz, because Doogie will.
I know. But you have to give to get, right? And so I think I'm keeping Jaden for the defense. Yeah, I think I lean giving up Naz. Yeah.
Wow. We just, look at that. We're 25 minutes into the
I will also say, by the way,
just bailing on Naz Reid.
Yeah, I mean, heck, you'll win tomorrow against the depleted Lakers team. Then you beat Charlotte, you beat the Nets. Next thing you know, you have a 3-game winning streak. We're having a different discussion next week. Maybe you lose to the Knicks at the Garden, but you're still sitting pretty darn good. I mean, that's why this early schedule, like last year, they get off to an 8-10 start, had to fight scratch claw at the end of the year, finish 17-4 just to avoid the play-in to get to 6. I don't think you want to play with that fire this year.
Right.
I don't think you're taking your chances as the 6th seed again. Even if OKC is the 1, so you could avoid them until the West Finals, I don't think you want to do that again. You just don't. Like, top 4 matters. It does. I think it absolutely matters. I get it. They defied that last year. I understand that. But this year, top 4. Find a way to finish top 4. And so I think it's Nas. I do. But it would be tough. Don't get me wrong. But, hey, the Spurs have had interest in Nas before, by the way. So that's another reason why I'm thinking this. Not that maybe they don't have some interest in Jaden.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe the Spurs might say, you know what? We're good. Like, we like Keldon Johnson enough. We like Harrison Barnes enough. Like, we'll figure this thing out. We don't need to make any sizable move right now. Let's give Harper the full runway of the year. So De'Aaron Fox comes back. Harper, his minutes fluctuate a little bit. Castle can still do his thing. I mean, I don't know. But I know the Spurs in the past have had interest in Nas. So I don't know what the trade machine says because De'Aaron Fox is at a pretty big number. Like, Nas for De'Aaron doesn't work. And I don't think the Spurs do that 1-for-1. So it's Nas plus more. So how much more are you giving up in a proposal like that? I mean, that's a fair question, right? I mean, are you giving up too much? Right? Nas is good enough. And I do think Nas has another 6th man of the year in him. I do. The Nas we saw 2 years ago, I think you can get back there easily. Not that he fell off a cliff last year. He was more than fine last year. Plus, you think about just all the stuff in his personal life, now playing might be cathartic and all that, therapeutic, but I'm just saying, like, it might take Nas a little bit, but he's been fine. Maybe not the first couple games, but he's been better since. But, yeah, you got to get, right? So you got to give to get, and, yeah, I think it's Nas. I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Judd, why don't you tell us about your favorite burger place in the North Loop, huh?
Oh, that would be easy. Parlor. In fact, guess what? Parlor is the perfect place to stop if you're going to a Wolves game. North Loop, it's close by. Absolutely outstanding. We are talking the best burger in town. We're talking a chicken sandwich that is fantastic. Dare I say underrated? Craft cocktails, great beer list, fantastic service. Make an evening for, a celebration, a date night, a Wolves game. And here is the nice thing. If you're a hockey fan watching this show, I got good news. Right down the street, West 7th from the Wild Arena, there's a Parlor in St. Paul. If you're out in the burbs, out in Excelsior, Tony Excelsior, guess what? Parlor's out there too. 3 locations, a hat trick of fantastic locations. So check them out. As I said, best burger in town. That is my friends at Parlor Burger.
Also, for crossover Wolves and Vikings fans at Buffalo Wild Wings, they've got these Pepsi souvenir cups that feature Justin Jefferson on them. You can go into any Buffalo Wild Wings in the Twin Cities, order 12 wings of any style and a Pepsi, and you'll get one of these Justin Jefferson souvenir cups. There's a QR code on the side. You can scan it, and you can enter to win Victor's very own Polaris ATV. It's a Polaris Ranger 1000. And if you win it, he'll drive it right up your driveway, right, maybe into your garage, wherever you want it, just like he has the last couple of years with the winner. Supplies are limited, so stop in, order 12 wings of any kind and a Pepsi, and you can get a Justin Jefferson souvenir cup here. Buffalo Wild Wings, the preferred sports bar of the Vikings, and Pepsi, the official beverage of the Vikings. We'll get to some organizational changes here in a second, but SeatGeek, if you're looking to maybe grab some seats in that new theater seating, the lighting that they now have, Judd.
Oh,
SeatGeek.
Beautiful. Yes. Yep. In fact, I'm on the SeatGeek app right now, scrolling through games because, heck, we've got tickets already there for the Ravens-Vikings games, Gopher football as well, and even concerts. In fact, I believe our friend Darren has used SeatGeek for concerts as well. Tell us about your experience with the fine folks at SeatGeek.
Mumford & Sons, October 9th, Grand Casino Arena. Mrs. W dragged me to that concert, although it was as good a concert as I've been to in years. We got our seats on the SeatGeek app. It was fantastic.
Use the code HOWLS10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with the promo code HOWLS10. Make sure that you take advantage of the best place to get seats in town, SeatGeek.
Dukes, just off the court for a second here. Mark and Alex are now the owners of this team, and I know behind the scenes they're putting together some arena plans and whatnot. But in terms of just the current arena, the current staff, everything, they got the stage lighting now at Target Center. Very exciting. There's been a lot of changes behind the scenes. Obviously, the two main C-level leaders under Glenn Taylor, Ryan Tanke and Ethan Casson, gone to other NBA teams, and some other executives behind the scenes as well. New CEO has been hired. I believe there's been some shakeups on the sales side in some different ways. So what are you, anything that you're hearing behind the scenes in terms of major changes here since the new ownership took over going into the season now?
Yeah, I mean, let's go back to the summer. They laid off dozens of employees. Sarah Perez on the public relations side, somebody we deal with when it comes to media relations, right? So, yeah, I mean, there was an organizational shakeup that, to me, is pretty darn normal when new ownership comes in, not out of the ordinary. And, hey, you know, those employees, I was told, were given very generous severance packages, but it was inevitable. Change was going to happen. Plus, you think about, you know, Ryan Tanke and Ethan Casson, we've laid this out, right? And the tough spot those guys were in, glad both have landed on their feet. But, you know, which way do you go? The Glenn Taylor side, the A-Rod and Laurie side, going back to arbitration, how weird that was and everything, right? But, yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not suggesting everything I've heard is it's completely kumbaya right now, but it seems like things are okay. Yeah, I mean, 2 home games in, you know, being over there for an event in September behind the scenes. I do know from a basketball operations standpoint, yeah, they lost one of their guys to the Nuggets front office for a promotion, but there's a lot of continuity there. And hey, I think Matt Lloyd, general manager, is due to run a front office. He's plenty good enough to be a Pobo, but, you know, second in command here to have somebody like Dell Demps with all his experience in the front office. So, yeah, I mean, from a basketball operations standpoint, it's pretty darn good to not lose Micah Nori, right? I mean, Micah, very deserving of being a head coach. To me, it's when, not if. Well, it hasn't happened yet. Maybe it should have, right? So to be able to retain Micah Nori, Elston Turner, I think he should have been a head coach many, many years ago. Probably at this point at his age, not going to happen, but like Elston, really good defensive mind. Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do right now, but I think that's a pretty good defensive coordinator to have. So just from a basketball operations standpoint, pretty darn good, right? They knew not to let go our guy Jeff Municky on the fan relations side.
Yeah.
You know, they're from day one.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, as great a human being, literally, as you could ever come across. Heart of gold. And like, best of luck finding a fan that doesn't think the world of Jeff Municky. You know why? Because he's so darn good at what he does, and he's so inviting, so warm and generous and everything. Just the nicest guy on the planet, right? And so, you know, they didn't screw that one up, right? And so, you know, they have a good idea of what they're doing. To get that CEO from the Florida Panthers, that's a pretty savvy hire.
It is
pretty impressive. And so, you know, for the most part, you know, it looks pretty good. You never like to see people lose their jobs, right? And we probably all know some people that found out this morning, you know, Target Corporation letting go a bunch of people. It's the world we live in.
Amazon,
right?
too.
Yeah, Amazon, too. Yeah, I mean, a couple of us have been there for sure, right? And so it sucks. It absolutely sucks. And so, you know, the Sarah Perez's of the world, hope they're doing great, right? But just that's going to happen when new owners take over. But, yeah, I mean, to me at this point, what exactly do these plans look like for the new arena? And where? And how do you leverage some suburbs with the city of Minneapolis, with the land, the development around the new arena? But how exactly is that new arena going to be financed? I mean, to me, that's the overarching question when I think about new ownership. Because, yeah, the theater lighting, it looks great. Now, watching on Peacock last night, it seemed like it was a pretty dead crowd, but it was an 8:40 start on a school night.
Back to
and
back.
So, you know,
so
it's the Lakers game.
Back, all that. So I'm not going to overanalyze one game. It seemed like there was decent energy TV-wise from the Pacers game on on Sunday. But yeah, the theater lighting looks really cool. I know the players love it. And so, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to like right now, but thinking about the next 5 to 8 years, when do they break ground? Can they break ground on a new arena in the next 5 to 7 years? What exactly does that look like? That, to me, is the number one question when I think about Mark and Alex.
Yeah. Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department. Some information, some speculation.
Because people will ask, why are you bringing up De'Aaron Fox? Just remember, this front office had interest before Sacramento moved him to San Antonio. This front office had legit interest in De'Aaron Fox. There are fans in this front office of De'Aaron Fox. That's why, when we talk about that topic, that name needs to be right there at the top. The contract is not an easy one to acquire. I understand that, right? But when we're thinking about how to solve the point guard conundrum, I think he has to be among names that are bandied about.
Yep, it is. It's a thing until it's not a thing. Their point guard situation and their ball handling situation, and one of the big things that separated the Wolves from the Thunder last year, among a few other things, was turnovers. The Wolves turned the ball over a lot, and the Thunder didn't. The Thunder take the ball away a lot. The Wolves gave the ball away a lot to them specifically in that series, and it's going to continue to be a problem that teams look to expose with as much full court pressure as you'll see in regular season NBA games. So it's just something.
Yeah, and we've seen, 2 clutch time games, 2-0. That's fantastic. They're making shots in clutch time, but they're also turning the ball over. When you think about Indiana, when you think about Portland, there were some turnovers in clutch time. So that hasn't gone away. Now, do I foresee them playing another 46 games this year of clutch time? Probably not, but you figure somewhere in that 27 to 35 range, right? They're going to play a good number of clutch time games. And so what exactly do those turnovers look like at the end of the year? So, yeah, it's absolutely a thing, right? And, yeah, they need to show us that it won't be a thing. But until then, yeah, we have to keep talking about how do they solve the point guard position.
Yep. All right, Dukes. We'll see you over on Purple Daily later on this week. And we'll see if the Timberwolves can weather the next couple weeks without Anthony Edwards. Darren Doogie
Relatively
Wolfson.
easy schedule, so they should have a winning record here over the next coming weeks. But yeah, it'll be fun to watch. I'll see you boys on Thursday. See ya.
Sounds good. All right, for Dukes, for Judd, I'm Phil, and this is a Timberwolves lifestyle podcast. Flagrant Howls.